Welcome back to the Vike Night podcast, where we give you reviews, recaps, and some fun takes on our favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings. I'm here with Lucas and Phil, and if you didn't see it, we did post a short video explaining why we had to scrap our most recent podcast about the loss to the Falcons due to some technical difficulties. And one of the things we talked about in that lost episode is that we were expecting the Vikings to take that embarrassing loss we saw and use it as motivation against the Bengals. And we'd say they did that and then some. They followed up that loss with a blowout win against the Bengals in US Bank. 48-10 they won. Interestingly enough, the last time they won a game with more than 38 points against the other team was back in 1998 against the Jaguars.
Great season.
Not saying, just saying. The Vikings controlled this game against the Bengals start to finish. Having Christian Darrisaw and Harrison Smith back really showed that they're clear difference makers. Not that that's something we didn't know already. Van Ginkel returned with 2 sacks. Overall, the defense went straight sicko mode, making a statement that what happened with Atlanta will not be happening again. Carson Wentz got to have his 6th start with a new team in 6 years, this time on the team that he grew up loving and cheering for. Jordan Mason had a busy day and finally got a touchdown. I've been waiting for that. He actually had 2 touchdowns in this game. Phil said he expected Josh Oliver to get more involved with this game, and he got the first touchdown of the day. And of course, as I'm sure you all know, we cannot talk about this game without mentioning Isaiah Rodgers. This was his legacy game and arguably the best defensive performance we've ever seen. He made history with an 87-yard pick six, tipped by Harrison Smith, by the way. That really seemed to take the team from, we're going to win this game, to, oh, we're going to dominate this game. He also went on to have a 69-yard fumble return touchdown? 69, I believe.
69.
69, 2 forced fumbles and an interception, and we'll get more into talking about him later. We're definitely expecting him to win NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Special teams also had a day. I mean, this was overall a huge, dominant win that the Vikings needed before heading off to 2 international games. And of course, we also love the karma that got back to Jake Browning, and that's the thing with the Vikings, I think. It may not happen right away, but if you deserve karma and you slight the Vikings somehow, it's going to come back to you. And when it does, it will not be pretty. Just look at the Saints from back in the past. I think I don't need to say much more about that. The Bengals suffered their worst loss in franchise history. The Vikings really did that to them.
They did.
Yep. And so we're going to go on to some roster news now. Like I briefly mentioned, some players have returned. Harrison Smith, Andrew Van Ginkel, Christian Darrisaw all returned to action. They were eased back into the game. They were playing limited snaps, but still made a huge impact. Donovan Jackson did suffer a wrist injury back in week 2 that he played through this week. He received surgery today, actually. That's Monday, September 22nd, on his wrist. He's going to miss some time. Hopefully he'll be back in action after the Europe trip and back after that bye week. So we're looking to see him return against the Eagles in week 7. As of right now, Monday night, J.J. McCarthy, Ryan Kelly, Justin Skule, and Aaron Jones are still out. All that being said, there is so much to talk about with so many players that are deserving of maybe some of our Pride Awards. So we're going to go to our Pride and Doggone It Awards. Phil and Lucas are going to start to talk way more. Just a quick reminder, Pride of Valhalla Award, that is given to players who really stood out to Phil and Lucas for one reason or another. And the Doggone It Award is the opposite of that, where the players stood out to them for the wrong reasons. So there's a lot of great options this week. So many directions you could go in this. And Phil, you have one that I really like, but I did not expect to see.
Yeah, so I think most people would maybe expect me going maybe a different direction here potentially, but I'm giving this to the Teachster. I thought about that in my head. I thought it'd come out better maybe. The Teachster. Teja. We're giving it to TJ Hawkinson. And
let's go, Hawk.
Let's go, Hawk. I mean, he plays in the NFL. He is on our team, guys. And Had a great game. I thought, we did have that emergency pod where, as you mentioned, I said, expect Josh Oliver to get involved, expect TJ Hawkinson to get involved. And did they ever? I think we saw really good things from our guy, TJ. He tied for the team lead in receptions along with Jefferson. They both had 5 catches, I believe. So yeah, he went 5 for 6, 49 yards, 9.8 yards per catch, and had that awesome touchdown in the third quarter. And the reason I say it was an awesome touchdown is just because I feel like we're so used to, as Vikings fans, when you have a game like this where you're going up, you might not be expecting them to just keep their foot on the gas. It's like a run, pass type deal. And after driving down there, and I was kind of expecting them to keep running it, maybe just settle for 3. But hey, no, we got TJ in there, ends up getting his first touchdown in well over a year. And so just excellent to see, even though, we were already up by like 3 scores at that point. With TJ's score, the Vikings are in this game, they're the first NFL team to record 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 2 defensive touchdowns before the fourth quarter. So just there's a lot of history that was made during this game. At the end of the day, I'm giving him this Pride Award just because he finally brought this seemingly like weekly predictions I've been having of expect the TJ touchdown, expect the TJ touchdown. It finally happened, and and I'm expecting to see more of it moving across the pond here with Wentz starting for us. I'm assuming he's going to be tossing the rock for both of these international games. It's looking like, in my mind, I would expect them to give McCarthy a little more rest and have him come back. I expect Wentz to continue feeding these guys, similar to his time in Philly and with other teams. Wentz has kind of historically been a guy that's tossing it down to these bigger guys, these bigger receivers. So TJ and Oliver overseas, I'm expecting them to continue to have an impact here. And so TJ is getting my offensive pride. Love what I saw from him.
I'd really have to agree. I think it was really great to see TJ get in there for 6. A lot of people would call that last touchdown a garbage time touchdown, but you couldn't tell that to TJ Hawkinson. Did you see how much that meant to him?
Yeah.
It clearly meant something to come back from injury, go through what he went through last year, kind of a down year, even in his time back. And he really wants to be a dominant tight end in this league. And it meant a lot for him to score, and it made me feel very proud. So excited to see more from both of our tight ends, Hawkinson and Oliver. I loved what I saw from the offensive line tonight, especially their leader, Christian Darrisaw. In a game where we saw 8 different linemen for the Vikings get snaps at a variety of different positions, it was impossible not to notice the poise, physicality, and leadership Darrisaw brings to the table. Left tackle is the most important position on the offensive line, and having an elite one makes our offense a top-tier offense. You could see it right from the first play of the game. It was a stretch run to Jordan Mason behind Darrisaw, Hawkinson, and Oliver. They got them all on one side and ran a stretch play behind them, and nice solid run for 9 yards. And from that moment, I felt like, okay, here we go. We're going to run the ball. We're going to establish the tempo, and we're going to get this game going, and we're going to come out with a win. Now that I know it was going to be the blowout that we saw, no, I had no idea, but I know in these tough games that are going to come down to the line of scrimmage, having to move guys off the ball, having a guy like Darrisaw, a true leader on that offensive line, is absolutely crucial for the Vikings. So he didn't play all the snaps, but he did play most, and he looked great when he was out there. He was moving guys off the ball. He was that just rock of pass protection that we need on our offensive line. So loved what I saw from Darrisaw, and so proud to see him back from the injury and all that he overcame to make it back.
Yeah, I'd just add, he had 0 sacks. I mean, our quarterbacks took 0 sacks on the day, I believe. Not well, at
Wentz
least
went
not
down 3 times.
Okay.
And 2 of them, he was really, really holding on to the ball for a long time, but none of the sacks were on Darisaw.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's just where my brain was going to. And also 0 pressures allowed. You know, he had that 1 penalty where he had the false start. And I remember you saying, yeah, you get 1 of those.
If you're Christian Darisaw, you get 1.
You get 1. And that was all he had. And so, you know, overall, I'd have to totally agree. It's so nice to have Christian Darisaw back. I was just kind of getting really antsy at just the injury reports and how they were, you know, framing it like he's practicing in full. Is he not? And so having him back is huge for our team. Couldn't agree more.
It was less about his performance today and more about all that he's overcome to get back to where he is. And then just knowing the stability that he brings to the future. That's really what makes me want to give him the Pride Award this week. It's truly a proud feeling seeing somebody come back from what he's been through with that knee just being ripped to shreds in that game against the Rams last year. But really, the true pride in this game, I feel like, comes on the defensive side of the ball.
Absolutely.
And this is a no-brainer. I had to give you him. I had to let you talk about him.
Right? Yeah.
Speak your truth, bro.
We got Zay Rogers. The real Rogers, dude, coming through with a absolute legacy game. Jeez, where do I even begin? I guess I'd start with that he had the single highest PFF score for a single game performance in NFL history and recorded a 99.9 grade. Now, I have seen a few different reports saying that a player did it in 2006, I believe. Either way, he performed at almost a perfect level. Isaiah Rodgers this game recorded 2 INTs, 2 forced fumbles. He had that fumble recovery, 2 defensive touchdowns, 1 pass defended, 3 solo tackles, and when thrown at, had a 2.8 quarterback rating. So this guy, and I believe the only catch he allowed was for 2 yards. Absolutely unreal. I don't know if words can give it justice what we saw from Isaiah Rodgers that game. He now has more touchdowns through 3 weeks than any Vikings player on offense. And
spreading the ball around. You like to see that, but
right.
It's a unique stat.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we saw the speed of this guy on both of those returns.
For real.
He ran a 4.28 40 time, which is pretty good.
Pretty fast.
Pretty fast.
Pretty quick.
And that was on full display in both of those returns. And overall, just instinctual ball hawking for 3 quarters. And I mean, most of these stats I just read you came in the first half. So this guy's having a legacy game that most players don't even get to see in the first half of a football game. I think is pretty dang cool, if you ask me.
That's huge to point out, too, in the first half.
Yeah. Right. It kind of reminds me, you know, that, oh, geez, I can't remember the last time we've had a player just with such a huge first half performance on either side of the ball. Just really great all around. And really looking forward to his play moving forward. He's going to be crucial in this cornerback room because, as we mentioned in our roster breakdown before week 1, it's already a pretty thin cornerback room. So, you know, for him to have a game like this really can kind of put us at ease, I feel, with having, you know, Byron Murphy, who we believe in, and then you got Rodgers too. It's going to be huge. And I would be remiss, I feel, if I did not give a quick shout out to Shondon Sullivan, who, quick throwback, would have had 2 defensive touchdowns if they were not called back by the refs. Now, Rodgers got it done officially, but I did really quick want to mention to people who might have forgotten, he would probably not have been the first corner to have 2 defensive touchdowns if those weren't called back.
Was that in the big comeback game, the Colts game?
I
Or the Bills game?
I do remember it was a blue team, so I'm thinking
It was one of those comeback games in 2021.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it was. Yeah, so I just he had a really funny tweet about it, like yeah, it would have been me if these refs didn't call it back.
I didn't see that. We should throw that up on the pod.
Yeah,
Pull
so
up the tweet.
But anyways, Isaiah Rodgers, though, officially in the stat books for one of the best performances by a Vikings defender I think we will ever see.
Or period, NFL wide.
Just period, yeah. He, as I said, played a perfect game. Just about.
Special game for our corner. That is so amazing to see. You see why other teams' fan bases are distraught that he is no longer on their roster. I'm talking Colts fans and Eagles fans wishing that they still had Isaiah Rodgers, but he is all ours now. And I'm pretty excited about that. He seems like a really, really good corner.
I'm pretty excited about it too. And yeah, can full on see why Flores was kind of pushing for this guy for them to sign him in the offseason. I remember hearing quite a few times that he was talking with Kwesi and KO and having conversations like, hey, this Rodgers guy, like, we need to bring him in here. And hey, it showed up yesterday. So couldn't be more thrilled about having Isaiah Rodgers, one of the best defensive performances in NFL history.
Woo! Hard to follow that up, but
Yeah.
I'll try. Ivan Pace played a great game, and I maybe even didn't realize it until I look at the final stats and see that he had 12 tackles, 9 of them being solo. What I do remember is the 3 hits that he had on the quarterback. That really left its mark with me as saying, look at this guy play. I mean, he really plays the game the right way. I describe him as a Tasmanian devil running around with his hair on fire. He really looks violent when he's running at you. I think if I was a quarterback, there's few people that I would be more afraid of than Ivan Pace. And he's not a huge guy by any means.
Yeah.
It's just the speed in which he plays is just scary. And when he hits quarterbacks, he seems to do it really, really hard. And that's fun to see because, you know, when he was getting to Browning early, even though it wasn't for a sack, he was smacking Browning in the mouth. You could see Browning come up, try to adjust his helmet, screw his head back on straight because he was absolutely rattled by our guy, Ivan Pace. And this is what we need when we're talking about a leader of our defense, middle linebacker Blake Cashman, being out for a undetermined amount of time. We don't know how long he's going to be gone. So we need a committee to replace what Blake Cashman brings to the table. And Ivan Pace leads that committee. Not only in snaps played, he played in 44 out of 50 total defensive snaps, but also quality of play. You know, Eric Wilson's been solid. We have Kobe King, a few other young guys that are going to be getting snaps at linebacker. But look for Pace to be that guy that really, really steps up in this time. And I love what I see from Ivan Pace.
Peasky.
Should we go into a couple honorable mentions here? Maybe we just go every other on these because we had so many that we felt like maybe we had to do several prides, but we'll just throw out a few honorable mentions. Let's go every other. Harrison Smith, was great to see him back. He had that tip that led to an interception. That was incredible. What's next?
Levi Drake Rodriguez. We saw him quite a bit, especially in that second half, and had the most tackles, but from a defensive interior player.
More than Allen, more than Hargrave, more than Redmond. All 3 starters. LDR got in there and tore it up.
Yeah, and throw 2 TFLs on there as well. I mean, you got to feel really good about that depth with Drake Rodriguez next in line behind Hargrave and Allen and stuff. So yeah,
the rotation is nasty.
Jordan
Mason went for 16 carries and $116 on 2 touchdowns as well. I really feel like, you know, Mason, we both talked about putting him as our pride.
Right.
This is what we expected. This is kind of par for the course, at least, of what was in our minds of the vision of Jordan Mason. And I think it's really, really coming to light.
Absolutely, yeah. And just real quick, if I throw in there, that's 600 yards rushing for the season, that seasonal bet, it's looking kind of nicey right now.
Looks
Can I
pretty
just
good.
say, as someone who started Jordan Mason in their flex spot in all 4 of their fantasy teams, what a great day. I've been waiting. I had been waiting so long for this. I finally felt validated. Yes.
You had it figured. She drafted Mason before Aaron Jones in our league. She
the real ones know.
Real ones know. Moving on from there, we got Wentz. Carson Wentz coming back to play his 100th career game at US Bank. He went 14 for 20, 173 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And while he wasn't, lighting the world on fire or anything, he was a serviceable quarterback who didn't make mistakes. He didn't turn the ball over, operated the offense with great efficiency. Granted, we do have that, having CD come back and whatnot, that's got to make things easier. But overall, really happy for Carson, just seeing the smile on his face, especially after that first touchdown to Josh Oliver. You can tell this is a guy that, he grew up rooting for this team, and that's just got to be kind of a surreal feeling.
He had tears in his eyes in one of the press conferences, at least, when he was talking about it.
I love it.
Tearing at my heartstrings. Wentz played so good.
Yeah.
All Kevin O'Connell asked of him through the media this week was to be the point guard. And I think what he's referring to is some of the hero plays that Carson Wentz has attempted to make with teams in the past. Right. This is a real gunslinger that needs to be saddled. I feel like it's a wild Mustang that they're trying to tame here. And they did it really well through 1 week. He didn't have any plays where it felt like he was just chucking it up to the defense. If the play wasn't there, he didn't take it. But what he did do was drop back, clean, quick passing game, and just looked really, really, like you said, efficient. I think that's a great word for it. Lastly, on these honorable mentions, let's talk about Jonathan Grenard for a second, because this is a guy that's not showing up huge on the stat line, let's just say yet. This guy is second in the NFL in quarterback pressures through 3 weeks. He has 16 pressures, 2 tackles for loss, and a quarterback hit. Man, let's get some sacks, because it sounds like he is getting to the quarterback.
He is,
but just not getting him on the ground quite yet. So that those sacks are gonna stack for Grenard very, very soon here.
And real quick, just before we move on, I just wanted to bring up Dallas Turner. That's another name that didn't maybe show up in the stat sheet, but he had several pressures as well. And if you really dive into it, I think you'll see it was one of the best games of his young career as well. So shout out Dallas Turner, young guy, young buck, continuing to develop. And
again, just the depth of that defensive line is insane. I'd hate to play quarterback against the Vikings right now. They look really, really good along that defensive interior.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's kick it into Doggone It's award. There's not a whole lot to really, and this might be us kind of nitpicking here. But for me, at least, one thing I didn't like to see was that Will Fries block in the back penalty. It's just kind of a boneheaded play. Jeez, I lost my train of thought. But anyways, it's just Will Fries' boneheaded play there with the block in the back. But
it wasn't necessary for the success of the play. Like if he didn't block the guy in the back.
Thank you.
I got your back here.
Yeah.
So if he didn't block the guy in the back, we still get a first down on that play. It was almost after the guy he was blocking for ran past him. So it just seemed like a momentary lapse in judgment by a player who's been pretty good for us this year. So
been pretty good.
And it is just a moment that makes you say, doggone it, what are you doing?
What are you doing? And, he did great. I was the highest O lineman, but exactly. It was just a play that actually makes you say, doggone it. Overall, though, I'd like to add the team committed 13 penalties on the day, going for 105 yards on those. And you compare that to Cincy's 4 penalties, 3 of which they had on their opening drive. So we saw several false starts. You had Juergens, Hawk, and then that one from Darisaw. And I would say in a closer game, these could have potentially been very cost-worthy. And I expect KOC to get this cleaned up. You mentioned that in the post game. That could prove difficult, however, given that we've seen a new starting front 5 each week, and we're in line to see another new starting front 5 for next week in Pittsburgh with Blake Brandel taking over for Donovan Jackson. So Blake's got to lock in overseas until the Don can return. Hoping we can keep these penalties down a little bit. Given how the game went, it wasn't, anything to really get pissed at watching the game, but afterwards, those are the kind of stuff that you want to limit going against teams, say the Ravens or so after the bye or whatnot. So yes, doggone it to the penalties and to that Will Fries silly little push in the back there. Lucas, what do you got?
Thinking Will Fries?
Yeah,
and another thing on the O-line, it feels like I haven't seen this many moving pieces through 3 weeks in a Vikings team ever. This is a lot going on, but they are handling it with resiliency. It was almost like they were rotating players in and out. At one point, Donovan Jackson actually left for, I think, 4 or 5 plays because of a bloody nose. So like even just little stuff popping up, those backup linemen have to stay ready because they're going in the game. We had 8 players play on our line this last game. So that is a lot of players going out on the O-line for week 3, but hopefully they can get it together. My bold prediction for the offensive line is that they will be fully healthy, good to go week 7 when we're home against the Eagles.
That's right.
This doggone it is not one that I look forward to giving. I was very, very excited when we acquired this player. I thought he was going to be a game changer in the first 3 games of the season, especially. Adam Thielen. 0 catches on 2 targets. Come on. 2 catches on 26 yards on 5 targets for the year, including 2 dropped passes. Only redeeming quality is his 1 clutch 2-point conversion catch. Really, really rough stuff from Adam Thielen, whether it's just miscommunication with the quarterbacks, not being designed into the plays, or it's just simply not getting open. He's not getting it done for Minnesota, and I'm worried about him going forward. There was one play I can remember from the game where it would have caused mass hysteria throughout the entire state of Minnesota and the surrounding states. And that's where Wentz is scrambling, steps up in the pocket, and he just floats a perfect little pass to the back corner of the end zone. And I'm telling you, 3 years ago, Thielen has that extra step, and he's there for it. And instead of, glancing off his fingertips, he's going to bring that in one-handed for a touchdown, and everybody's going to lose their mind, and all of a sudden Wentz is the next great quarterback in Minnesota. I feel like Wentz mania is coming. It wasn't necessary for this game, but it's coming. And we just are going to have to delay it just a little bit longer because we didn't see that wow play. Both touchdowns to the tight ends were routine, normal plays. That would have been something special to Adam, and I'm just so sad that he couldn't come down with it. I still think he could be serviceable, but what I fear with Addison coming back and the play from Jalen Naylor is that he has now fallen to our wide receiver 4. And to have your wide receiver 4 not be a young prospect that you expect to develop into something better than that someday, but in fact a player who is only going to regress, is a pretty tough look for the Minnesota Vikings. They spent a 5th round pick to get him here, and I have to wonder if it's worth it. It was a legacy addition to make the fans happy, and I just don't know if it does make me happy, because I think that maybe we could use that 5th round pick in the future for a young prospect. I mean, you look at all these UDFAs that we have that are so incredibly talented. There is guys in the 5th round of the draft that can be game changers on your team. And Thielen's just not being a game changer right now. He doesn't play special teams. He's not getting very meaningful looks on offense. And this is the toughest look of it all, because I was thinking, he's probably out there doing a great job run blocking. He's probably been open on plays. But when you look at the advanced metrics, he is dead last in this game for the Minnesota Vikings in PFF grade. He was graded at like a 41. Right. And that's just awful. I mean, that just shows that the run blocking is uninspired. I think he's probably a little bit upset in his role. I think he expected to come in and be that wide receiver 2 and get 5, 6, 7 targets a game. And he's not getting that. He's barely getting looked at. He's really didn't do a lot during this time where we said we needed another solid wide receiver while Addison's down. he didn't really step up to the plate. And I just can't believe I'm saying all this about one of my not only favorite players, but just favorite people that I've been introduced to through the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, Adam Thielen is truly a one-of-one type character, but not really getting it done for our team. I know it stings, guys. What do you think, Adam Thielen?
I'd like to try and play devil's advocate a little bit, but I mean, in my mind, though, when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I can't really disagree with much that you're saying here. You know, we were saying that, I mean, I was saying he's going to be an elite wide receiver 3 in these first 3 weeks of this offense, and we simply just haven't seen that.
At this point, wouldn't you prefer Naylor at 3?
I mean, absolutely. Well, that's who I'm betting on. Right
now. Come on.
Too.
I mean, he's just been coming through clutch, too. We asked for that wide receiver 3 to be similar to KJ Osborne and Jarius Wright in the past, where when you need that big third down conversion, you go to a guy who only catches 1 or 2 balls a game, but always so clutch. And that's just not Thielen right now. I think it's proved to be Naylor.
It has been proved to be Naylor. I mean, you saw in that first game, he was getting wide open almost every other play. And I mean, who knows? I don't know if we'd be changing our tune a little bit if the O-line was getting just completely blown up in that second game against Atlanta, if maybe Thielen breaks free or something happens there, you know. But yeah, overall, it does leave a lot to be desired, especially with us giving up that 5th round pick.
It's like weekend at Bernie's out there, man. He's just not getting it done.
Yeah.
And am I right that Addison is back?
You would be correct.
He's playing. He's playing against the Steelers. He is back for the rest of the year.
We back, baby. So
I'm excited for that. I think that's going to be in the preview here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Alanis.
Well, before the preview, we got to do our mystery awards.
Oh, yeah.
Just a quick reminder.
Everybody's
that is where
favorite part.
Oh, yes. Most anticipated part of the podcast. That is where Luke and Phil pick an award. Really, it's just kind of no rules. Whoever they feel deserves some kind of award, they name it a fun name. They have to guess each other's winners, and I have one too. But Lucas, let's start with you.
All right. I'm giving out the Bang for Your Buck Award. Who wins the Bang for Your Buck Award, Phil? Alana, what do you think?
Oh, let's go a lot of here first.
Bang for your buck.
Take a guess.
I'm thinking Will the Thrill.
Cool. Like the guess. Phil, what do you think?
I'd also like to think it's Will the Thrill, but I'm also kind of thinking like bang for your buck. Are you saying, hey, we're getting a lot of bang for what we're paying for this player?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So these are 2 things that I definitely want to talk on. So who do you think's a good value for us that we picked up? Good bang for your buck.
I would go with. I'm really liking what we're seeing from Jalen Redmond. I think he's been doing good this year.
Okay, so Jalen Redmond is a UDFA, and UDFA rookie contracts, I don't even know if they're $1 million. I think it's $880K. So yes, Jalen Redmond is an excellent bang for your buck. Bang for your buck, Will Reichard. He really banged in that 62-yard field goal. That's a franchise record, and I wouldn't be surprised if that comes up later in the awards. But no, my award is not going to Jalen Redmond. It's not going to Will Reichard. The Bang for Your Buck award goes to the Gink Man.
Whoa.
Gink Man.
He was back.
We had a conversation early in the game where I was a little nervous about Gink Man's involvement. I was like, I don't really see Gink out there. I'm really looking forward to my guy. And Phil says to me, he's cleared from the concussion protocol. He'll be in there. He's going to be a full go. He was not a full go at all. He barely played. He played 8 snaps, but in those 8 snaps, he recorded 2 sacks. And while a little bit that has to do with luck, of course, we talked about Grenard and his 16 pressures through 3 games. You know, I would expect his sack numbers to jump up. But Andrew Van Ginkel, his instincts, he just has a great way to always be near the ball, always be making plays. I can't say enough about my favorite player on the team. It's the Gink Man. Had to get him in there somehow because, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, he didn't have the most standout game of anybody on the team, especially only playing 8 snaps. But to get 2 sacks in 8 snaps,
that's unreal.
That's a bang for your buck right there. So
I'd say so.
I can't wait to see him be full go playing 75 to 85% of the snaps, because obviously it is a rotation. They have so many guys that they can get in there to keep everybody fresh, but I think we are going to see a lot more than 8 snaps from our guy. So if he plays 30 snaps, does he get 7 sacks next week? Like, let's see it. So shout out to Gink, man. Love him.
All right, so love the Gink, man. I got 2 here because they're just so funny, I think. But I'm going. Okay, let's go with the Sarah McLaughlin Award.
Okay. I'm just thinking Chase McLaughlin. We've had a lot of conversations about kickers this year, more pertaining to our fantasy league, but Will Reichard.
Do you have a guess, Alana?
I'm also going Will Reichard because when
Crazy.
I think of In the
Wow.
Arms of an Angel, I'm thinking, wow, we've got a generational kicker for once.
He is a little angel boy.
You know what? I love that.
Who's the
Well,
Sarah
okay, you know
McLaughlin
what,
Award?
guys? The Sarah McLaughlin Award is going to, and if we could throw this
Is it
image
about
up
dogs?
on the screen here, it goes to Christian Darrisaw.
Oh,
Okay.
I should
Okay.
have known. The guardian angel. He's
In the
back.
arms of an angel, man. There was a play, jeez, and I can't remember where in the game it was, but Carson Wentz is about to trip. He's fallen back a little bit, and who is it behind him? CD to just come and wrap his arms around him and say, "I got you, buddy. I got you." There it is. We could blow it up better because I'm thinking about throwing a halo on top of his head for that. But
It's a beautiful thing.
it's a beautiful
you
thing.
love to see your left tackle just have his quarterback's back. I mean, that's just classic football right there.
it is classic football.
Insert quote from The Blind Side right now.
And it was just great to see CD out there, and he's a guy who wants to protect his quarterback. I feel like he'll get so pissed at himself if he is allowing a pressure or a sack, which he didn't last week. He takes his job very seriously, and he's one of the best in the league.
So good to have him back. I'm
So
looking
good to
at
have him
this transcript here, and Phil, we got to get to your second award here. What is going on here? What is this?
All right, so you guys brought up a name that we've mentioned a little bit, our guy, Will the Thrill. Well, I'm giving him the Let Yo Nuts Hang Award.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Mom.
This is a guy that bangs through, as we mentioned earlier, the season long. It could be, hopefully, he bangs through a 70-yarder.
Let's
He
go.
can do it. He can do
It
it.
would have been good from 70. I'm thinking, man,
Hey.
this kick was awesome.
It would have, and longest field goal in Vikings history. And got another pick that if we could throw up real quick here of that's my new lock screen photo, everyone. Will the Thrill
Is it
in
the
his
one with
element.
his knees out?
Hey, you know what? Hence the award name. Hey, this guy is letting his nuts hang, and he's banging through kicks. So you know what? We just love to see the guy, Will the Thrill.
I think if you were to look at an X-ray of Will Reichard's nuts, it wouldn't be testicles. In fact, it would be 2 ice cubes because this guy's got blood or ice in his face. He is just ice cold. He goes out there with that goofy little boy face, and he's so serious, and he's just gonna hit that kick from any distance. It seems
He's
like
got the face of a boy, but the leg of a freaking titan.
stallion. He's such a guy, man. Love Will Reichard. Hope he's our kicker for the next 15 years. So solid. Love Will Reichard.
Love Will Reichard.
Alana, do you have an
Shout
award
out.
Oh,
this week?
I do. I'm going to call it the Oh Safety My Safety Award.
Oh, safety, my safety. It's Harrison
it's
Smith
Harrison
coming
Smith.
back.
It's Harry.
Ooh, that is such a good guess, but I'm actually giving it to Tellus with Metellus.
Yeah,
Why?
big
Dallas.
He had a big play, big interception, and you know what? He's always out there hyping up the defensive squad before every game. And I saw what he said to the team before this Bengals game, and I feel like it has to play a little role into all the things that hyped him up for this game. I'm
I
gonna
did
give him
not
some
see
credit.
what he said to the team.
Oh, just
What
his
was
typical
that?
stuff. I'm sorry, I don't have an
Typical
exact
hype.
transcript, but you know, his typical hype
He's
up.
a great hype man. I would have
is.
to agree with that. So maybe we haven't seen the biggest plays from him yet. It was awesome to see him get in there for an interception, but wow, Metellus. You got to love the attitude that he brings to the team, the way he gets the guys fired up. That's a great award.
Yeah,
Metellus needed
absolutely.
to be mentioned. This is first pick of the year and a guy that we expected a lot from. So excited to see more from Metellus and the rest of the Viking squad next week.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Oh, Jinx.
Jinx.
Kiss.
Let's get to a game preview here.
Yes, absolutely. Again, we are going to look next week to the Vikings preparing to take on Ayahuasca Aaron and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We fared well last time we faced Rodgers across the pond. That was when he was with the Jets.
Yes.
And the team will look to carry all of this momentum that they really needed into 2 consecutive international games, then into the bye week. We're going to be up bright and early to watch the Vikings go against these Steelers in Croke Park, Dublin, Ireland. And we're expecting it to be almost like having home field advantage for the Vikings. As we know,
I'd reckon.
yes, they have the greatest international NFL fan base. I'll fight anyone who says otherwise.
It's just a
Kickoff is
fact.
Sunday.
It's just a fact.
Kickoff is Sunday at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. Signing off, I'm Alana.
I'm Phil. I'm Lucas. Skol
Skol
Vikes,
Vikes, baby.
Oh!
Now we got a kiss. We jinx each other at the end there too.